Hello. Yeah, hi, good morning. Good evening to all of you. I hope my voice is loud and clear to everyone. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Anuja. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So, right, like yesterday, the previous class that we had on Monday. So we were talking around the use cases of the VLOOKUP, right? So I hope you all were able to understand the concept behind the VLOOKUP, that how we were using it, right? We talked about a couple of formulas that day, like we were talking around VLOOKUP. We talked about a column formula on how you can make the VLOOKUP dynamic in case if you are looking for the column which are in sequence. Then we talked about match and index. Now match was a formula that we were discussing which helps you find the position of the it helps you find the position of the value, and index it gives the value at intersection of row and column, right? So this is what we were discussing in the last session that we had. So let me just try to give you a quick question, and let's see if you are able to, how will you achieve it. Okay, you can all just create this small data set at your end, and in which what we have is I am having the we have the customer IDs, and based on the on these customer IDs, what we need to do is we need to fetch what was the order ID that they purchased and what is the name of the customer. So if I go back to the data, now this is what I have. So I have the customer name. One, I want the order ID which is on the left hand side, and uh, one I want is the, sorry, something. Huh. So what I want is, on one side, this is the customer ID that is given to me. I want to fetch order ID of this and the customer name. So one thing is on the left hand side, and one thing is on the right hand side. So how are we going to approach this? Anyone who can think of that, how we can achieve this output now? Okay, so Radhika, for yep. So for customer name, we can use the VLOOKUP, that will work. And but if I say I just want to go with one formula so that I don't have to recreate the formulas again and again. So then how should I go ahead with that? See, let me try to explain this. What happens is, let me just pick up a very small data over here. This is the data that we have. Now, if you will see, these are the columns and these over here are the rows. Now we just have to, understand and keep in mind the concept of metrics. That's it. If we understand and keep the mind of metrics into our mind, index match can be used very easily. Okay, now for example, what I've asked you for is, now this is the matrix that I have complete. So how many rows it has? If I talk about rows, it has 13 rows, right? 13 rows and 7 columns. Now this is the matrix that I have. So we don't have to think in terms of customer ID or nothing like that. We just have to think in the context of matrix right now. Okay. Now if I have to find, suppose for this customer ID, I have to find the order ID, right? For this particular customer ID, if I have to find the order ID, okay. Now in this matrix, which row number you need to go? What is the row number? If I'm talking about this particular customer ID, right? So row number 2, and what is the column number? Column number is 1. That's it. This is what will give me this number, because for this customer ID, this is the order ID that I'm looking out for. So I'm saying row, I want to go into the row 2 and column number 1. Now the question comes in that why did you select the row? How did you come to know that you have to go to the row number 2? Now, because the reason for that is you said that, okay, I am looking out for this value and this is coming over here in the second row. And then how you got to know about the column number 1? Because you said that I am trying to find the order ID. Correct? This is the thing that we did. Now the same thing has to go inside that index match. So if I have to find the order ID, I will say equal to index. I'll give this is my complete matrix where I have to look out for the value, comma, row number. Row number we said is 2. And column number we said is 1, right? So I put 1. And I am able to fetch that. See, I get that same number over here, but this was something static, right? This was something static because for every row I will have to change that. Now, how I came to know about the row number was because of simple stuff, because of this customer ID. So if I have to find the row number of this customer ID, which formula can I use? Match, right, Harsha? So we can use match over here. So if I'll come over here now, I will simply say match. What do I want to match? I have to match this value, comma, where do I have to match it? In this range, I'll freeze this, comma 0, and I'll close it. I get it. Now if you see over here, if I just drag it down, something went wrong somewhere. Oops, this range, I didn't freeze the matrix. Oh. These are not there in the range, so that is why these are not there. So only up till here, because I've selected a smaller set of data and I give you more customer IDs over here, so that is why it is not coming. Is this making sense? How I achieved this? Okay. Now for this, but if I'll come over here now, I will actually have to change the formula, right? If I'll come over here now and if I paste this thing over here, I'll have to change of this formula over here right now. What do I need to change? I need to change the column number, right? Because I want the customer name now, which is coming in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. column number 6. So I get the customer name now. But is there a way I can make this again dynamic? Because if I was asked a couple of things that I want to fetch the ship mode also, I want to fetch the segment also. Now that can become a tedious task. So how do you think I can actually fix this problem that I don't have to change anything? So that I simply copy and paste this formula over here, everything, everywhere I get the values. How do you think? What change shall I make? I will also request please try this at your end parallelly so that you are able to apply this. Yep. So Harsha, the question is basically I want to find for these customer IDs, I want to find the customer name, ship mode, and segment. One formula I've already applied, but I want to keep this formula dynamic so that I don't have to change any stuff when I copy and paste this formula on the right hand side. So what shall I now further change in this formula so that my formula becomes completely dynamic? So right, Radhika, so column number is needs to be changed dynamically. Yep. So just try that, how we can do it. Yep. Did anyone try? Yes, Radhika. So basically, you will use match for finding the column number as well. Perfect, right? So this is what we need to do over here. So if I come back to this is actually the same thing that I need to do, right? Because I was finding the position number of order ID, and I know that it is coming at position number 1. That is why I gave that number as 1. So where I've given 1, I will replace that also with match now. So if I will put match, now what is the lookup value? Lookup value is this, comma. Where do I want to find it? I want to find it in this range, right? And we will freeze this, comma 0, and even close the bracket. But there are a couple of freezing that you need to now take care of, that when the formula is dragged down, now this B1 should not become B2. So we will freeze this, and this A2 should not become B2. So I'll freeze this. Now freezing is something that I have to take care of. Rest, everything will work now. And we see complete formula has been created. And now the advantage is that index match is going to work left to right to left in any direction. Yep, all of you please try and let me know if you are able to work on this. Anyone having doubts or questions? I hope freezing is all of you. I mean, freezing is the concept that you all are clear with. Anusha, can we use the offset with it? Offset in what context would you like to use it? See, because now their formulas are like, these are like just bits. It totally depends upon the situation, how we are trying, what is the kind of value that we are trying to fetch. So any formula can be fit with any other formula as well, depending upon the requirement that we may have. So I'll just have to understand like what exactly if we are looking out for. So maybe I'll able to think it. But because we know that offset is also something that offset is something that selects the complete range for us, right? So definitely we can use
Yeah,
offset.
for the dynamic update purpose, you were telling yesterday about offset, right? So I just want to know whether we can use these two as a combination.
Okay, so you are saying, okay, suppose this is the data and you are trying to ask in context of that, okay, if this data increase in the future, is that the context? I mean, suppose if tomorrow you get more headers and you get more number of rows. So because once you give this range over here in that index, this is going to be static. Although columns now become dynamic, but range becomes static. So yes, if you want to make that range dynamic, you can use offset instead of giving that range. So what you can go over there is like, we can make this formula a little more complicated. Inside this, instead of giving the range like this, you can also use offset over here. So you will be able to give the offset inside this now, and then you can go with that. So you can give the reference point 0, 0 and the COUNTIF formula, right?
So using index match, we can go for a limited amount of data only, not for like.
No, because see what we are doing is inside this index match, we have given a starting point that I want to look out for the data within this range to this range. So that is why because the range becomes fixed, that these many columns and these many rows. But if your data is something which keeps on increasing day on day basis, so in that case you will also have to add in the offset inside that, because the range is something which will not change. So if I see over here, everywhere this is going from G3 to M15. Now this is not going to change even if the data increases.
Okay. But in real time, mostly the data will be, changing every now and then, right? So
Yes, so we can make a dynamic range in that case. So we can simply come up and we can create that
yeah.
range for that by using the offset, and we can use
Okay.
that range over here.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you now. So now let me ask you a quick question over here. So what we have is that, we have some categories, right? So suppose I want to find the total sales. I want to find the total sales. Now how will I find the total sales? I can simply use a sales formula or sum formula. I will say sum of column sales, and this is the total sales that I get. That is the total sales that was generated. I want to generate the total sales of technology, furniture, and office supplies. Now, these are the sales that I want to generate. So how can I generate these? I want to find out what is the total sales that happened in technology, furniture, and office supplies. No, not without pivot. We don't have to use pivot. Right. See, let me tell you. See, for that, we have some formulas in Excel, and those formulas are SUMIF, COUNTIF, SUMIF S, COUNTIF S. Now, again, these are some formulas that we use a lot day in, day out. Okay, now if I just try to explain you the SUMIF formula. SUMIF formula is made from two formulas. One is sum and second is if. Right? So as the name itself now tells that you want to sum up the numbers if based on a condition. If your certain condition is true, that means I want to find the total sales if my category is technology. See, when I use sum of sales, it gave me the sum of entire column. Makes sense. But now when I want to find the sale of technology, basically how will I sum the number? I will say, okay, over here I have technology, the sale is this. So I will pick this up. Over its furniture, I will ignore it. Now in these areas I have technology, so I will pick this sales and I'll add it up together. So I am checking wherever the category is technology, then I'm adding the numbers. Then I'm checking wherever the category is furniture, then I'm adding the numbers. Now that is how we are summing up the numbers over here. Okay. So let's see how we can use SUMIF. If I say equal to SUMIF, this is going to ask for three criteria. It is asking me for the range, criteria, and sum range. Now range is that range where you have to check your criteria. Now here I have to check my criteria, comma, what is the criteria? In this column, I have to look out for technology. This is my criteria. Then comma, sum range. Sum range means what do you want to find the sum of? Do you want to find the sum of sales, quantity, or profit? So I want to find the sum of sales. That is it. I close it and there I get. Now this is the sum of sales of technology. If I just drag it down, I get all the numbers. This is for furniture. This is for office supplies. If I'll add these numbers together, I get the same number that I received over here, 12642, 12642, 501. Right? So right away, I'm able to fetch the total sales for each technology. And how we have done it? So it will take three inputs. First, the range where it has to check the criteria. And then you go give the criteria, what criteria it has to look out for. Then you give the range of the values which have to be added up. So Radhika, if you are asking the sale was split three columns as in
So like here, this when you're using sum if formula, the sale is mentioned in only one column. So that's how you're summing with the different criteria with technology or furniture. But what if for the category technology, there was a, sale one, sale two, sale three. So it's like maybe three different prices comprising the total sale.
no, so if I try to understand it, so you are saying that this is furniture and this is technology. Technology. This is how you are saying?
No, I'm saying that if you go back to the main sheet orders, so you see how there are different criteria like technology, furniture, technology. So we have column S for sales. What that sale was coming from, let's say, different regions. So sale one, sale two, sale three. So sale from different regions. And they were split out in three different columns. And then we wanted the total sales S1 plus S2 plus S3 for a particular category.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it. So you are saying,
yeah,
this is sales one,
yeah,
and then you are saying this was this is sales two, right? And you really
from three different regions in the same category, let's say.
And this is sales three now. So now you want to find the total sale of technology for these three regions, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, you can use the same sum if formula three times. Basically, you will just use this plus over here, and you can just copy this entire formula, and you just need to change the range of SS to TT. So if I make it T to T, so now it gives me the sum of this plus this. Similarly, I add plus the third range as well.
Thanks.
Okay. So did you all try this once? Okay. See now, will you all like to try, right? Same way, like we have sum ifs, we have a formula of some, like we have sum if, we have a formula of count if. Okay. Now over here, instead of sales, I want the count. I want the count that how many number of times the transaction happened for technology and how many times the transaction happened for furniture and office supplies. Now this is what I want to achieve. So please try this formula once, count if. Now count if is that as a name, it will count based on a condition. Oops. Done. Okay. So now see, it's simple. So basically, when you have to count it, you don't need a third column in that case, right? Basically, if I just if you the idea is we should be able to comprehend the formula right away. See, count if it counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. If you put tab, now it is asking me for only two things: range and criteria. Where do you count? Where do you want to count? I want to count in this range, comma. What do you want to count? I want to count technology, right? So this is what did I put something on? Yep. And you scroll it down, you get it, right? And if you want to check this out, how many terms? 51,290. So you can see those many rows we have. 15,290. First is the header basically. So we get the same number over here. So that means the count that Excel has done is completely fine. So we have found the sales and the counts. Okay. I hope you all are able to do it. Radhika, Harsha, Anusha, Sumati.
Yep. No.
Right. Now what we'll do is let us try to just make it a little more interesting. Right. So what I can do now is if I just show you, so over here we have some data related to segments. Consumer, corporate, home office. Now what I would like to do is consumer, home office. This side I have the categories. Right, if you will now see, this is what I have with me right now. Now what I would like to do is I would like to find the sum of sales, the total sales that happened in technology for consumer segment. Previously, I was finding only the sales for complete technology. Now I'm finding the sales for technology in consumer segment, in corporate and in home office. Same way, furniture sales in consumer, corporate and home office. So now if you see over here, what has now happened over here is our criteria has increased. Now I don't just want to sum on the basis of category. I also want to sum on the basis of segment, right? So I have two conditions. Now that is where the next formula comes into the play, that is sum ifs. Sum ifs means when you want to add based on multiple condition. Okay. So you can give as many condition as you want. So if I use now over here, if I say sum ifs, the formula will be little change. It is asking me what is the sum range? Like what do you want to give? What do you want to add? I want to add the sales, comma. Now it is asking for the criteria range 1. What is your first criteria range? That is the criteria range of my category, comma. What is the criteria in that range? That is technology, right? Comma. What is the criteria range 2? Now criteria range 2 is my segment, comma. What is the criteria now? That is segment is consumer. If I close this, it gives me the sales. See, technology overall was this, but in consumer segment, I got the sale as of this much value.
So what is column P?
Column P is a column of this category. Like this
Okay.
criteria, like the category is coming over there. So I'm saying in category, I want to find technology. And the second criteria was that in the column of segment, which is H, I want to find consumer. So where I get it? So in column P, I am looking for technology. In column H, I am looking for consumer. Oh, sure. I'll just repeat this. See, what I did was now I have to sum, right, based on two conditions, on a category plus on a consumer, right? Like how much sale that happens. So if I just filter this data out, so if I just filter the category technology right now. Oops. Now over here inside this, you can see in technology sale has happened in all the three segments, but I'm looking for only consumer. And now I have selected only that data where segment is consumer and get the category is technology. And if I will find the sum of sales, that comes out to be 2427. Okay, 2427 was something like the number. Now that is what I want to find. So I'm saying equal to sum if sum if s. Because I have to use multiple conditions. Now see, first of all, it asks for the sum range. That sum range means what is the number, what is the range from where you want to add up the numbers. That is the sales column. This is what I have to add, comma. Then it is asked for criteria range 1. What is my criteria 1? That is technology. So now what is the range where that is lying? It is lying in column P, comma. Then you give criteria 1. What is that criteria? That criteria is technology, comma. Now it asks for criteria range 2. We have to pick the criteria of where the segments are coming. That is the column of this segment, comma. Now over here it is asking what's that criteria now. So criteria is consumer, that is this. I'll close it and I can see 2427, the same number has been generated.
Got it. The strange thing is this formula works even when the criteria range is not in a separate bracket, like the second criteria range. And
Sorry, can you come again?
I'm saying that this is nice that the formula works even when the second criteria range, you have not given them in a bracket. Like you've just done comma after comma after comma. There is no need.
Just a comment, you can keep on doing that. And now there are some freezing of the things that we'll have to take care of so that when we drag and drop this, copy and paste this from the left to right, that should not change. So one is like this SS, we will freeze it. Then PP, we will freeze it. And AH18, right? So when it should go down, the row number should change, but not the column number. So that column number has to be freezed. And then HH has to be freezed. And in AI17, so what should happen is, again now row number should not change. That's it. Now if I put it, home office, what is wrong inside this? Oh, spellings are wrong.
Spelling of home office.
And there is a shortcut of finding the sum. I mean, if you want to add up these numbers, 3 numbers, you can just use alt equal to. When you use alt equals to, it just simply sum these number. and you can match this. Everywhere the numbers are same. Total sale 474457, furniture 411045, and 378. The same numbers have come out. So that means the totaling is coming correct.
I just want to ask, with this data range, like I've seen sometimes at work, people create these really extensive pivot charts.
Sorry?
And same with sometimes with these large data sets I've seen at work that people create these really nice pivot charts. Charts as in like line charts or those pie chart sorts. And then they have Excel data sheets opening when you click anything. All that seems really complicated sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, so, but charts are also used always, better as compared to a data because they are more easier to understand.
Yeah, easier to visualize.
You have to just visualize and you can create a lot of fancy charts and you can do them in the Excel also, and we will learn them in the Tableau and Power BI as well, how we can make some interesting visuals in Power BI and Tableau. Just give me 1 second. No one is on the door. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So can you now try another formula by yourself now? See, right? Like, we have found the sum of this. Now, can you try the countif over here? Countif is basically, I want to count how many number of times transaction happened for technology and consumer. Now, please try that countif by yourself.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Others, we'll give it a try. Okay. Right, so I hope this is easy, right? So we just have to apply that count if s, and we will be able to get that. Count if s, now we'll just ask for two things, right? What is the criteria range 1 and the criteria? So my criteria range 1 is of this category, comma. My criteria is this, comma, criteria range 2, which will be the segment, comma. And if I come back over here, this is the criteria. That's it. And if you have just drag and drop, and we will be able to find the number of transactions. Okay. Now see what we can do is when we create these SUMIF, COUNTIF, and COUNTIF. So similarly, you will also have two more formulas that you can just explore. This is exactly the same, which is average if. Now this is going to give you the average value. That's it. There is no much difference. Sum gives you sum, count gives you count, and average is going to give you the average based on a condition. Now there is something which we call it as there is a. Should I just come over here? Many times, what happens is when you do certain calculations, right? When you do some calculations, those formulas can give you error, right? Like, let me just now quickly ask you a question over here. Okay. See, these are the customer IDs that I have in the data. Okay. Now let me ask and let's see who will be able to approach this. There are some customer IDs that are given to me over here. And in some of the customer IDs, what I'm doing is I'm just making some changes. Now see the IDs that where I have made a change, the IDs that I have, changed the numbers. What I want to achieve right now is I want to achieve that I want to find those customer IDs. I want to find those customer IDs which are not available in this. I mean, out of this complete list, which are those customer IDs which are not available in orders? How will I get that? Okay, so how shall I use the VLOOKUP?
So if we apply VLOOKUP in this, so if you just type equal to VLOOKUP next to the first customer ID, and then lookup value will be the customer ID and the table array will be the orders. If you go to orders sheet, just in the customer ID column, select that.
Right, comma
1, 0.
Perfect, right? This is what we'll get.
Yeah, and
Now
then
if
we
I
can
just drag it down.
freeze the, yeah. Okay.
So this is where I get a hash NA. So the IDs that were not available in the data, so it is giving me hash NA for that. Now what I can do is instead of getting hash NA means not available. That this ID is not available in that list where you're trying to find it. So what we can do is sometimes, when you have to share this kind of a data with your manager or with your client, so over there hash NA can look a little odd. So what you can do in that case is you can use a formula that is if error. See what this if error does is if in your output you are getting an error and you don't want to show it as an error, but you want to replace it with some better value. So you can use if error in that case. Like for example, if I come over here, now if error is a formula which is going to take two inputs. One is what if the value is correct, what should be the output, and if the value gives you an error, then what should be the output. So what we do is we actually wrap this inside if error formula. I'm saying if error. Now this is the formula that I'm trying to apply. Now if this formula gives me an error, then you can put a comma and you can say if this gives you an error, just simply say not available. Now if I put this, if I drag it down, now see the IDs which are not available, I am getting not available written over there instead of getting that hash NA. Right? So you can use if error formula in that scenario. If error takes to input the normal value, and then what you do is you give value if that gives you an error. Just wrap it inside that if error. This is the original formula. If this formula gives you an error, that I want the output give you should give you not available.
So I have a question here. What is considered as an error? Just
Error is basically, see, error could be like anything, like what we got was hash NA. Now, this was an error because that means value is not available. Suppose if you try to divide a number by 0, it is going to give you an error again because you cannot divide something by 0. So it gives you hash diff 0, that this error is, that this value is not divisible. Similarly, if suppose you have given this formula over here where you are saying that this is the table array and you want to find the value which is lying in column number 1. If suppose I say column number 2, although table I have given of only one column and I'm saying I want to find the value in column number 2, this is a reference error. So if you see this, it gives you basically, there was a formula that I had applied, that is what is giving not available. See, if I remove this, it will give you hash ref error. That means the value that you're trying to find has a problem with the range reference.
What
So
about
these are,
blanks or nulls?
huh?
What, any blanks or nulls?
Blanks or nulls as in the
There is a
data.
blank in the customer ID, or if there is a null in the
So
customer
blank and null are considered the same.
errors.
So that way, see, VLOOKUP, what VLOOKUP does is it tries to find, it matches the value. If it is able to find that there is some value available for blank, it will pick it. If there is no value present for blank, it will give an error. Got it?
So you mean if there is a blank in this column B customer ID, and if there is also a blank in the orders sheet customer ID column, then it will not give that as an error.
No, it will not give you that. For example, if I just try this out. So let's go over here on the orders. Let me delete this. Okay. And it is not available. If no, it will give the error for that as well. Sorry. So blank, it is not able to pick. It is because it doesn't have any value right now. So that is also an error.
Okay, thanks. Because sometimes IDs are not available, or when you're just going through data and
It's not present there, right? So that's also an error. Okay. Yep. So I think this is where, I'll be taking a stop for today, right? So I'll be jumping into the next meeting now. So we'll be now meeting tomorrow. And from there, tomorrow what we'll do is we'll try to just explore how we can make some charts. And I'll also show you how you can make an interesting dashboard in the Excel within just minutes, right? So those are the things that we will discuss in tomorrow's session. And
also
I'll try to share some.
since when will we start getting any assignments or some work to do?
So today I'll be sharing that assignment as well. So today itself I'll share an assignment with you all, and on which you all will be working. So I'll share a couple 2-3 assignments. So maybe I'll share it over the WhatsApp only. Right, so since we now have a WhatsApp group, so I'll share the things on that.
Okay, and I was also checking this Zoom folder for the week. Didn't quite make sense, like how they've been saved. So I'll check again, and maybe we can discuss tomorrow. I can share my screen.
Okay, sure. Okay, so thanks all. So see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. See ya.
So Harshad, okay, I just missed a question. You were asking, can we highlight? I mean, you're asking about the cells which are having some formula. You want to highlight them?
Hi. So basically you asked the question about if error, right? Regarding that only, I was saying that we can highlight the error by using some formula.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So not highlight. So highlight for
Yeah,
highlight we use formatting.
basically means, yeah, we can write some message or not available that you showed. I got that.
Okay. Oh, sure.
Okay. Thank you.